It's Tuesday, February 4, and time for your Barbados Today morning news update. The Cheapside Bus Terminal is a disaster waiting to happen. So warns the Alliance Owners of Public Transport, and its president Roy Raphael wants government to take urgent action in order to ensure the safety of operators and commuters. Raphael says the AOPT met months ago with the state-owned transport authority on the matter, and he's concerned about the length of time it's taking for something to be done.
Down there is a disaster waiting for it to happen, right? Mm-hmm. Some of our concern they have no shelter from the elements. There are no form of security. There are no lighting at night. And basically, we have had a meeting with the Transport Authority. We are waiting on them. This is November. We would have done the walkthrough. And this is now going into February. We have not heard anything about it. But the organization doesn't take this thing lightly because, as far as I'm concerned, is that you're dealing with people's lives and safety. Mm-hmm. Right? We have situations where people don't want to come in the terminal after 6 o'clock. Both terminals, because of the safety issues that we've had and what's happening now in this country, right? So I am making an appeal to government to do something with Cheapside.
Government is searching for alternative ways for disposing tires in the country. That's according to Minister of Environment and National Beautification, Trevor Prescott. Speaking to reporters following yesterday's fire at the Mangrove landfill, Prescott said his ministry was mulling over the possibility of using tires as a means of producing energy.
We've been looking at the options of utilizing the tires for energy. So there's a waste to energy program that we are contemplating. But obviously, because we have to look to see if we have the required amount to materials, we are now doing a lot of scientific research. Because if we're going to use those tires in the kilns, either at the cement plant or any other company for energy, we have to make sure we have the volumes, the required amount to be able to sustain the function of the institution for over a year.
Minister Prescott, however, explained that his ministry was leaning towards using tires in the production of asphalt.
We are not only looking at using these tires as a form of energy, but there is another proposal on the table, which I believe is the most appropriate, and that is integrating the tires into the asphalt material. It's going to require the kind of equipment, what do you call it, Jose? A treader. It's called a treader, but it is a special type of equipment because it has to take the steel from in the bands of the tire, and then we tread the material up, and then we integrate it into the asphalt material, right? And that could become a very useful option as well. So the two major options that the ministry and the SSA is working with at present.
The Barbados Union of Teachers is concerned about what it describes as an untenable learning environment at the Princess Margaret Secondary School. In a release, the BUT highlighted mold and termite infestation as some of the major issues affecting the 6-road St. Philip educational plant. The teachers' bargaining agent also complained that some temporary teachers have not been paid since the school year began due to the absence of a secretary-treasurer to process the payments. When contacted, Education Minister Cynthia Bradshaw told Barbados Today she would respond to the BUT at a later date. In other news, CARICOM health ministers agreed to a draft comprehensive communication strategy to address misinformation about the coronavirus. The decision, which was taken during talks via video conference yesterday, will also provide citizens with correct information on how the situation is being addressed. According to a release by the CARICOM Secretariat, The strategy will target various audiences and include information about the ways in which the virus can be prevented, transmitted, and controlled. There's also a recommendation for a regional coordinated standard approach for handling entry at air and seaports. Member states further agreed to continue monitoring the coronavirus as it evolves internationally and are on standby to meet again as required. The local business community is throwing its support behind government's We Gathering 2020 initiative. In fact, President of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Michelle Loban Clark, says she's looking forward to increased commercial activity as a result of the year-long celebrations.
What we're hoping is that overall, if we're encouraging persons from the diaspora to come to Barbados and to look at how they can contribute to investing in Barbados. So we're hoping that we'll see some level of increase or uptake in commercial activity and investment from our Barbadians from overseas. And some companies I understand are aware of the We Gathering initiative and looking at how they can play a part in it. But overall, I think we just need to, we have had questions from some of our members as to how will it convert into tangible business opportunities and how can the members of the business sector play a greater role in helping this to be realized.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
To news from our regional neighbors, Bahamian authorities are monitoring several people under quarantine, but the Minister of Health, Dwayne Sands, has made it clear that the country has no confirmed or suspected cases of the highly infectious coronavirus. More in this report from ZNS News.
In fact, a total of 9 individuals are now being monitored after arriving from China. Meantime, all efforts are being made to beef up border protection, but officials have still not said how many people have been denied entry. But the Health Minister, Dr. the Honorable Dwayne Sands, says all airports and ports in this country have specific protocols to deal with returning residents or non-residents from China. Dr. Sands says, however, assures the public that there are no confirmed or suspected cases of the novel coronavirus here in the Bahamas. He also sheds light on those persons being monitored in the capital and Grand Bahama for a 14-day period.
That all of these people to get to the Bahamas would have come through the UK, Canada, Cuba, the United States. And so they would have been screened at every step along the way. So none of these persons are ill, none of them have a fever, none of them have any respiratory symptoms or any evidence of any illness. So the only thing that would require them to either be turned away or to be quarantined would be their geographic presence in mainland China within 20 days of presentation to the Bahamas.
And finally, the World Health Organization says there's a need to step up cancer services in low and middle income countries. And it warns that if current trends continue, the world will see a 60% increase in cancer cases over the next 2 decades. In 2019, more than 90% of high-income countries reported that comprehensive treatment services for cancer were available in the public health system, compared to less than 15% of low-income countries.
The situation of low and middle income countries is far worse in 2 respects. One is that they have a burden of cancer as a communicable disease, ironically. Cancer caused by viruses, cancer mediated by bacteria, and these are preventable diseases, but Although we human beings have the knowledge, the situation of impoverishment means that they cannot be implemented as readily as such measures are implemented in high-income countries. Whether it's a high-income country or a low-income country, there are inequalities. People are disadvantaged in respect of their availability of medical care, but more specifically for this report, the availability of cancer prevention, whether it's screening, whether it's giving up smoking, whether it's maintaining a healthy weight.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.